What is going on, Mayhem Fitness? We are shooting a Peloton video this week and it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm excited to try this and I'm curious to see what happens when we do it. We're going to shoot 3 videos this week. I'm going to do a video in just a little bit, 30 minutes. Same video 3 days in a row. We're going to try 3 different things. We're going to try 1 being instructor led, 2 going for speed. So for me, that means I'm going to be at least at a 40% resistance and shoot for 85% cadence for the whole ride. And the last one for power. So when we go for power, we're going to try to be at least 70 to 75 in resistance and over 50 in cadence. So we're going to see when we do these three rides around the same time every day for the same distance using the same instructor, what happens. Do we burn more calories with one particular ride? I think we probably will. Where do we fall on the leaderboard? Because that's what I'm most curious about. I know when I ride, I tend to ride more for power. I'm not great at riding hills, so I'm trying to work on the Peloton to get myself ready for when I ride next year, you know, when we get through the winter, when I'm starting to ride in the spring again outdoors. So I do a lot of power rides, and I find that's when I'm towards the top of the leaderboard. So I'm curious to see after 3 days where we finish on the same ride on the leaderboard, how many watts we put out, how many calories we put out, and where we finish. And I will tell you, when I do the instructor-led video, I will 100% stick to what the instructor says. I'm not going to go faster. I'm not going to go slower. I'm not going to go higher or lower resistance. I'm going to stick to what their plan is. So I liked riding with Hannah Corbin. She's probably my favorite, so I'll try to find a good 30-minute country ride that I like. Go in, do it 3 times in a row. I'll tell you what we finished at today when we get done, and then we'll do the same the next 2 days. I think today we're going to start with actually following the instructor. Tomorrow we'll go speed. We'll finish the next day with power. So look forward to sharing the results with you. All right, just finished our speed ride tonight. Not too bad, 92 speed average. We stayed right around 90 to 95 for most of the ride. We stayed at 40 the whole time, full resistance. Put us at like 5,500, I want to say, out of 20,000. So, you know, top 25%-ish. You know, 250 watts. My best ride in 30 minutes is 450. So I don't think the speed was as challenging, although the hard part for me is I am an out of the saddle guy. What was a good ride for me and got me a good sweat was actually staying in the saddle the whole time. So 9 minutes, top 25%-ish. Tomorrow we go for resistance. 70 to 75 resistance, 50 to 55 in cadence for the full 30 minutes. Should be over 400 watts, should be over 10 miles, should be a really good ride. So share that with you tomorrow. And then Tuesday we will bring in the instructor-led ride and see where we finish on there, so we can give you an idea of, you know, what do you get on the leaderboard from a wattage, where do you fall if you're going speed, resistance, or following the instructor. Talk to you soon. Good evening, Mayhem Fitness. We have night 2 of our Peloton ride, and remember, for this week, we're going to do 3 identical rides. We're going to do 1 based on speed, 1 based on power, 1 based on following the instructor, and see how we show up from wattage, calories, and mileage. Yesterday we did speed. That was good for, we did 92 for our cadence, 40 resistance. We had like 250 watts on there. About 9 miles, so pretty good. Tonight we're going to do power. I do power a lot. I expect us to be at least 400 watts. We should be over 10 miles, a little bit more speed. And then tomorrow we will go in and do our last ride, which will be following the instructor. So we're doing the 90s country ride from Hannah Corbin. We're going to do the whole thing. Like I said, today I'm just going to get on. The goal is 70 to 75 in resistance, 50 to 55 in cadence for the whole ride, see what we do. And then I'll come back at the end and I'll tell you how I'm feeling, how many miles we got in, what we did for mileage and for wattage and for calories. So we'll see you in just a little bit. And at the end of this, we'll let you know which way you burn the most calories, how you show up on the leaderboard. That's the thing we'll talk about as well. We finished like top 25% on the leaderboard going speed. I expect we'll be much higher tonight. So see you in a bit. Thanks. Fitness. Whew. That was a good one. We did the power ride tonight, 420 watts, 576 calories, 11.5 miles. So to put in perspective to the speed ride last night we did 9 miles, 350 calories, 250 watts. So a lot, 175 more watts, 200 more calories, almost 2 more full miles. Here's the big difference. 448 on the leaderboard out of 20,000 today. 5,000, 200 out of 20,000 yesterday in speed. So definitely getting more on the leaderboard, more output. Definitely more of a push if you go power versus speed. Tomorrow will be interesting. We'll bring it in with following the instructor. We're going to follow 100% the letter of the law. We're going to see what brings it in. I'm predicting probably somewhere in the 1,500 to 2,000 range if we push ourselves. Probably 300 watts, maybe 325, and probably 400 calories would be my guess. But check us out tomorrow. We'll give you that final update on the ride, and we'll compare all 3 rides, speed, power versus follow the instructor. Thanks. We'll check you out tomorrow. Good evening, Mayhem Fitness. We are on day 3 of our Peloton challenge, and for today, we are going to follow the instructor. The last 2 nights, we've done a pace ride and we've done a resistance ride. We've seen so far that resistance, we have been way ahead where we were on pace. We were like 450th on the leaderboard out of 20,000. We did resistance. We were over 5,000 on the leaderboard. We focused on pace, and resistance was like 72 resistance at over 50 cadence. And then for pace, we were at 40 resistance with a 90 plus pace. So today we're going to follow what the instructor says. I'm very curious to see where we end up on the leaderboard and that we do for wattage and what we burn for calories. So should be interesting. There was also a pretty big mileage difference. When we did for pace, we finished at like a little over 9 miles. When we finished for resistance, we were actually right around 11 miles. So pretty big difference in a half an hour. So I'll share a little bit of the ride with you. I haven't shown much on the ride in the first 2. I will show a little bit on this ride, and I'll come back, tell you where we finished. We'll talk you through if you're, again, to what you're trying to do. Are you trying to build up speed? Are you trying to build up resistance? Are you super competitive like me? Do you want to be at the top of the leaderboard? I'll tell you which way gives you the best options to burn calories, to get miles in, and to keep me on top of leaderboard. So be back with you in just a little bit. All right, Mayhem Fitness, we are getting ready for our 30-minute ride here. So we're going to go in and see where we finish up. We're starting to begin resistance. We're going to follow the guidelines that Hannah gives us today. All right, Mayhem Fitness. So as we get into the beginning of this instructor-led ride, we're at like 30 resistance. We're at 95 or 85 in cadence, which is the direction we've been here. We're following the guidelines. We're staying within that yellow piece here, so we got to bump up our resistance here. And again, the goal is to stay within the goals that are set for us today. See where we finish on the leaderboard. See how we do for calories and for total output. So we'll be back with you in just a little bit. So Mayhem Fitness, on this, we can see I am way behind where I would typically be. I believe on both rides, I'm at like 6,000 on the leaderboard. I'm following the guidelines, so here you go. I'm yellow on both here, but you can see I'm at like 5,900 on the leaderboard. I'm 50 behind my best time for wattage. So what I'm seeing so far is, while it's a good ride, it's definitely different, and I think you'd be slower on the leaderboard. I'm curious to see, once we get into a couple of these climbs, how we show up compared to the speed ride. We're not going to touch the resistance ride, but I am curious to see how we compete against the speed ride. So be back in a bit. All right, Mayhem Fitness. So we're 15 minutes into the ride. We're doing 85 on cadence, 40 to 50 on resistance right now. We've got 123 watts in. So we're paced to about 250. Again, about 110 behind my best pace, which was a resistance ride. So again, a good ride. I've got a great sweat going on. I'm feeling good about the ride. It's been a challenge, but it's just different. I do enjoy this more than the speed ride so far, only because it's gotten me in and out of the seat, and it's got me doing something a little bit different. The resistance ride is pretty much up the whole time, where you're pushing yourself to be out of the saddle and at a high resistance, just really grinding the whole time. And this one, you're at a different pace. You're different things. Like right now, we just bumped up to 90 to 105 in cadence at a 40 resistance. So we're pushing ourselves a little bit. So I am curious to see how we finish with this with the speed ride, the pace ride. I know, again, going to be way behind the resistance ride, but look forward to sharing you how we finish. About 14 more minutes. We'll come back and tell you how we finish. All right, Mayhem Fitness. So we're at 27 seconds left in the ride. 253 output, 343 for calories, just over 9 miles. I don't know exactly where we're going to finish to our speed ride, but it looks right now pretty comparable to me. We're at like 5,900 on the leaderboard, so I think the speed ride and the instructor ride are pretty comparable. I would tell you that I think the instructor-led ride was more challenging because we were out of the seat. We had different pace. You know, with the speed ride, we just went for, realistically, we just went to, 90 cadence at 40 resistance for 30 minutes. It was really good, but I would say as we're thinking about how do we challenge ourselves and push ourselves to be better, I would tell you that the instructor-led ride was probably better than that. But again, nothing if you're trying to get on the leaderboard or if you're trying to push mileage or calories. That resistance ride is going to be a lot better. So I'll be back with you in just a second. I'm going to get off the bike. I'll pull the data. I'll get you the final information. And we'll talk about, what ride you should take when and how to utilize this to your best advantage to drive miles, calories, and output. So thank you. All right, Mayhem Fitness. So we are done with our 3-day Peloton challenge. Interesting, and I wasn't expecting it. The instructor-led ride and the speed ride were almost identical. We were within 100 people on the leaderboard. I actually saw myself on the leaderboard at the very end of the instructor ride. I was a little higher on the leaderboard on the speed ride. The miles were within 0.1 of each other. The calories were within 4 calories. The output was in 4 or 5, kilojoules. So the speed ride and the instructor ride, very similar. I will tell you, I feel a little more tired after the instructor ride. I think getting in and out of the saddle, getting, different pace in different parts of the ride was really good. So I liked probably the instructor-led version better than the speed ride. The resistance ride was where it was at. 200 more calories, 170 more watts. 2 full miles more on the resistance ride, so 11.3 versus like 9.2 and 9.3 on the speed and resistance ride. So, and on the leaderboard, we were in the top 500 when we did resistance ride. We were in the top 6,000, between 5,500 and 6,000 out of 20,000 when we did the speed and the instructor-led ride. So, again, there's a benefit to all of them. It depends on what you're trying to do. But if you're trying to, push your fitness, challenge yourself, stay on that leaderboard, resistance is where it's at. You're going to get your biggest bang for the buck with the resistance. So that would be the one piece I would share with you. So as you're thinking about doing your Peloton rides, if you're trying to figure out what's the best way to go out there, or if you're just like me and you look at a leaderboard and you go, how the heck are these people on the leaderboard way ahead of me? I will tell you, again, I do 75 resistance for 50-plus cadence for 30, 45 minutes in an hour. And I still, barely finish in the top 200 to 300 in a lot of these rides because there are just some folks out there. I've seen some people out there doing 100% resistance at 45% cadence for 30 minutes. These folks on here are just monsters. So continue to build up your tolerance. Continue to build what you're trying to do. We always love more rides on Peloton. We'll try to find some other ways. If you have questions on the Peloton, let me know in the comments so I can either do a ride or kind of give you my point of view on it. But as always, thank you for checking out Mayhem Fitness. We truly appreciate everyone that's on here. Hit that like button, the subscribe button, the notification button. New videos every week. This is our 3rd video this week, so we appreciate all you do. Come back and check out some more Peloton videos soon. Get out there, get a great ride in, get your fitness in. Have an awesome night. We'll talk to you soon.